Hello and welcome to another Subscriber Saturday. So yes, I am in a different location. Normally I am at the coaching studio at Hit Golf Academy at the Forest of Arden, but I'm actually I'm in Spain for a few days. I'm at Las Colinas Golf and Country Club. I'm out here for 3 days doing some filming, just creating some content for YouTube or Instagram, that kind of stuff. So as I was out here, I've just finished on the golf course. I've come back to the villa. I've got a bit of time, I'm going to do some editing, but I thought I would film this episode of Subscriber Saturday whilst I was out here and get it uploaded ready for Saturday. So if you haven't seen this video series before, if you are a subscriber of my channel, feel free to send me a video of your golf swing. Driver, iron, chip, putt, bunker, whatever it may be, send it over and hopefully you will feature on one of these videos, because I'm going to be selecting 2 to 3 people who I can give a few ideas on what they might want to look at to help them with their game. If you would like to send me your swing, then use the email address swings@chrisryanGolf.com. The other way to send it to me would be via Instagram, where my handle is @chrisryangolf. Now, we have got 3 more people which we're going to help this week. Last Saturday, I did not post an episode of this show. I did try. I'm just really busy at the moment, struggling sometimes to get this show filmed. So I may well miss a few weeks. I might start to go every 2 weeks. I'm going to do as many as I can, but if I do miss a few weeks, I do apologise, but still keep sending me your swings because I will continue this series, hopefully throughout the year. So the first one we've got on the screen is Mick Banks. Now Mick sent me his driver swing, and we're just going to play it through first. We're just going to give Mick a couple of ideas on how he can, what he can do to maybe move his game forward. So let me just play the swing through first for you. Okay, so there's Mick's driver swing, and you know, as I always say with this video series, this isn't really a chance for me to go into huge detail about someone's golf swing, but it's really a chance for me to say, okay, this is what I would work on in your swing. Maybe go and seek out a professional, something that you can work with, but if you are going to the practice area, this is what I would focus on for Mick. You can see he's hitting what looks like a driver, and when he goes back, he starts to get his wrists slightly out of position. So we've got a lead wrist, in this case is his left hand, and we've got a trail wrist, which is his right hand. And as I place them on here, you can see in this position here, my lead wrist is flat, my trail wrist is bent. If I were to move it to more this position, you can see my lead wrist is now bent, and my trail wrist is now flat. Mick has more of this position at the top of his swing, where his trail wrist is too flat, his lead wrist is too bent. If we start his downswing, you're going to start to see how that trend, let me just get rid of that square, that trend continues, and when we start to get to this point here, we get a club face which is unfortunately excessively open, so twisted upwards towards the sky due to how he's using his wrists through the golf swing. Now as soon as we get that club face open, pointing more towards the sky, we bring in the right hand side of the golf course. We also bring in the likelihood that the golfer is going to make some compensation through their downswing. And we start to see Mick, through impact, starting to stall his pivot out to release the club a little bit early. But really those are all effects of the club face being too open through the wrist angle. So I would actually get Mick to work on how he controls his wrist through the golf swing. I'd really like him to feel like through his backswing he starts to flatten off his lead wrist, put a lot of bend, or as much bend as he can, in his trail wrist, and really feel like he's working his hands this way at the top of his swing, and he's going to continue that all the way through the downswing, right the way to impact. We may well have to look at a few other things and organise a few other things around impact, but I think that's really the first thing I would do with Mick, and hopefully that will get him hitting the ball a little bit better with the driver. Mick, if you're watching, hopefully that is helpful. Right, second swing. Let's pull in this one. And we're just going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, and this swing is from Craven, and you can see he's hitting an iron here, and again, like the other one, I'm just going to play this through first so you can see the golf swing. And this looks like a great play. You know, it looks like a very good golf swing, looks like an accomplished golfer. Looks like he gets plenty of speed in there. But he is struggling with a little bit of consistency, I believe. So, there's a couple of things here. It's very difficult to see from the camera. I would guess this golfer's path is a little bit out to the right. You can see sort of here, looks like the club might be bottoming out a little bit early. So path right tends to create a low point which is earlier in the golf swing, brings in those heavy shots, brings in those thin shots, makes it very difficult to play from the rough. So if we take this golf swing up to the top, we can see here that there's a lot of things to like. You know, he's moved the club quite nicely up to the top. That's pretty good. Now we're just going to mark a couple of things here at the top. We're going to mark his trail knee, we're going to mark his lead knee, and we're going to mark the grip end of the club in there. So as we start this downswing, okay, you can see that the grip end is moved pretty much vertically down. So from that little spot there, the grip's moved vertically down, and you can see how his knees haven't really moved much from the top of the golf swing. What this is really doing for me is it means he gets his arms a little bit too deep at this point in the downswing. I would like to see this golfer really starting to rotate the lower body a little bit quicker in the downswing. I think it's going to cause him to move his hand path a little bit more out towards the golf ball, a little bit less downwards. I think he's going to be able to get a little bit more, if we take it to impact. Okay, there you can see. I think we'd like to get this golf a little bit more open in the upper body. You can see a little bit of daylight between the forearms, looks a little bit closed off. And certainly when we get to the left arm level in the downswing, so into this position here, I would tend to want to see the knees back to square, so back to where they started. And although he's wearing black, it's not that easy to see. To me, his knees are still quite closed to the target. Just means for me he hasn't rotated well enough. I think he's got too much lead arm depth at this point. And for me, those are things that create this path, which I believe is to the right. Obviously, I don't know that, but I think it's to the right. And I think that probably creates a little bit too shallow angle of approach. So I wouldn't really touch the backswing. I would just look at how this golfer sequences the downswing, trying to get him to open up a little bit quicker, trying to get him to, from the top, feel like he hits low fades, which is going to help him get his hands more out towards the golf ball, feel like he's a little bit steeper into the back of the golf ball. I think we could probably get this golfer to strike it a little bit better and just play around with some different ball flights. Right, last one for this week is this one. Now this is quite an interesting one because this is a pretty good golf swing again. So if we just look at the general shape of the swing, and let's just play it. Let me find out where it starts. Okay, so, you know, pretty good golf swing. Now, this golfer, when he emailed me, said he just experienced, sorry, who is this? I should let you know who it is. It is Arden DeLeon. I hope I've pronounced that right, Alan. So, what's really interesting is, this is a tricky one because it looks a little bit at address that his trail hand, so his right hand, is a little bit too much underneath the golf club. So kind of rotated under this way, which tends to sort of flatten off this trail wrist in the setup. If we take this through the golf swing, we can almost see that at this point here, I would suggest that that club face is a little bit too closed, which would kind of back up the idea that that wrist is a little bit too much underneath the golf club at setup. As we get to the top, we actually get absolutely fantastic lead wrist position. So you can see that left wrist is, if anything, slightly bowed. And again, for me, the club face is probably on the closed side. The way that he moves his hands with the golf swing reminds me very much of Jordan Spieth. I think there's definitely a look of Spieth in there. But Jordan Spieth has got generally a slightly weaker grip, and then he starts to flex that lead wrist to compensate. To me, it looks like this golfer's almost got a strong grip, which tends to close the face. He's then got an arching lead wrist, which tends to close the face. You put them both together, and I just think this golf club's a little bit too strong. I think it's a little bit too closed through the backswing. And although he doesn't actually appear that he makes huge compensations in the downswing for that, I would see that giving this golfer a few issues. But there's some really, really nice moves here. I would like to see the golf club a little bit flatter through the downswing. But I think this is a really, really good golf swing. And I think I would really just like to play around with that club face a little bit, start to just get it a little bit more neutral. I think I would probably start to look at how he places his trail hand on the golf club in order for him to do that. I've got a feeling that he is just fighting that closed club face, and whilst he can probably do that a lot of the time through just, you know, good ability and a high skill level, under pressure or consistently over a round of golf or a week's golf or a month's golf, we're going to see some lefts and some rights in there because he's got some lefts in there, some rights in there, and he's trying to kind of balance them all out. So I would definitely look at how he applies his right hand, how that would change the club face, and just look at adding some more consistency to that golf swing. So if you were one of those three people, I really hope that helped. As I say, it's not a massively in-depth lesson, but just a few things that you can maybe look at in practice that might help you hit the ball a little bit better and enjoy your time out on the golf course a little bit more. Right, so I am going to finish up this video now. I've got some editing to do from the videos that I've shot today. Course was fantastic out there, by the way. If you've not been to Las Colinas, I would definitely recommend coming. I didn't play the course today. I played one hole actually. Sorry, two and a half. Well, 1.5 holes after I finished my filming. I played the par 5 and the par 4. So definitely worth getting out here if you get the chance to play the course. Right, if you'd like to feature in this video series, email me swings@chrisryangolf.com. You can Instagram me, Chris Ryan Golf. But it'd be great to get your swing. I will hopefully pick 3 for next week. Give you a few ideas on how you can move forward. Thanks for watching. Usual stuff, as always, is down below. There's a comments box down there. There's a like button. There is also a button over here which will allow you to be a free subscriber to the channel, and it just means you won't miss any of the upcoming content. Thank you very much for watching. Hope this video was helpful, and hopefully I will see you back here again soon.